So the entirety of the Star Wars universe is imploding on itself right now, and I find it hilarious that a 50-year-long legacy of cinematic history has been destroyed by a lesbian witch coven who has a different ideology and different aspect of the Force from literally everybody else in the Star Wars galaxy, which is, I find that very odd that y'all decided to die on this hill. So, for those of you who do not know, The Acolyte has been out for about 3 episodes, and already people are saying that it has killed Star Wars because of the idea that a witch coven out in the middle of the distant galaxy, out in the middle of buttfuck nowhere, has a different viewpoint of the Force from the Jedi, and I don't know, why are you dying on this hill? This is really sad to me. So, this witch coven, apparently, out in the middle of Bendoc, for no reason, is sitting there just doing whatever it wants to do. The idea basically goes that the Force is a thread that you can pull from. The power of one, the power of two, the power of many. The power of many individuals pulling from the same thread, pulling from the Force, and basically using it as an aspect of their own free will to effectively shape one's destiny and to shape one's future however they like. Now, apparently referring to the Force as the thread is the greatest crime that everybody in the entirety of Star Wars has ever committed, because apparently having a different ideology of the Force as compared to the original Star Wars movies is a fucking crime that's beyond redemption. Because we all know the line, the Force is a energy field that surrounds all living beings. It surrounds us, penetrates us, and brings us all together, which, you know, is a great line by Obi-Wan Kenobi in the original trilogy. But the problem is that people can have different ideas of what the Force is and what the Force does, because we've been doing it since 1977. Now, the amount of individuals that believe in the Force and who have their own religious viewpoints and their own religious ideologies and their own religious backgrounds relating to the Force are very, very much so. There are well over 24 different organizations that believe in the Force and have their own different aspects and their own different ideologies of the Force. We got Anasaeus Coven from the Acolyte, the Barandos Sages, the Blue Coral Diver Clans, the Central Isotopers, the Church of the Force, the Daigoyan Order, the Dai Bendu, Disciples of the Wills, the Force Priestesses, the Guardians of the Wills, the Howling Crag, the Jedi Order, the Knights of Ren, the Mist Weavers, the Mud Dwellers, the Night Sisters, the Ones, the Order of Esoteric Pulsar, the Path of the Open Hand, the Rock Hawkers, the Sith Eternal, the Mountains, the Singing Mountain, the Sorcerers of Tund, the Zepho Stages. There's a lot of them. And a lot of them have different ways of referring to the Force as, you know, the Force. There's the Ashala, the Life Current, the Tide, the Sight, the Life Wind, the Presence, the Luminous Mist, the Unity, the Beyond, and just so recently the Thread. But for some reason, the Thread just so happens to be the only one that actually is controversial for some reason, despite the fact that everybody else has a different name for the Force that's not directly called the Force. Just casual reminder, that's all canon material. If we go into Legends, then we have a shitload of a lot more, because you have the Force, the power of the cosmos, the breath of Glengar, the Way. You got different aspects of the Force, like the living Force, the unifying Force, the cosmic Force, the physical Force, and different ideologies based on what these Force abilities actually do, what way of the Force you want to go down, what the Force does, how the Force works. There are different aspects of the Force that different people believe in, and not everybody uses it the exact same way as the Jedi Order, because they've used the Force in their own way for literal millennias upon millennia. I mean, if you want to make an example, take a look at the Night Sisters. The Night Sisters believe in their own variation of the Force that's basically called magic. They use the Force way different than anybody else in the entirety of the Star Wars universe. The Star Wars universe, the Night Sisters can literally increase the physical aspects of a specimen of their choosing. They can increase their strength, they can increase their speed, they can increase their fortitude, their durability, they can increase literally every aspect of a person of their choice through their own various magic. Even Morgan Elspeth gets a pseudo power-up from the Mothers as they are about to leave the next galaxy over from the Star Wars universe and do their own thing. I mean, for God's sake, the Night Sisters are so powerful, or the Night Mothers are so powerful, that they can literally resurrect zombies to fight in their favor. No one else can do that realistically, not even the Sith. And if you want a further on example, let's just look at Darth Maul. Darth Maul was straight tweaking in a fucking cave on a trash planet for 13 years until he was found by Savage Opress. Then Mother Talzin plucks him up from there, brings him over to Dathomir, takes all of that tweaky bullshit out of his brain so he can be resurrected in a pseudo sense, and manages to restore his mental fortitude back to what it was whenever he was just the regular badass Darth Maul. The Night Sisters are so powerful that they can resurrect people from the dead to fight on their behalf, increase physical attributes, increase mental fortitude. So why is it that nobody called them out when they were doing this back in like 2010? But suddenly it's a problem whenever the Acolytes, or at least the, Witch Coven of Anasaia, has the ability to do this. I don't know why. So again, we have a coven of Force users who believe that the Force works in a different way than the Jedi Order, and who also has their own ideology based around the Force and what exactly it can do and how it works. Just like every other fucking coven and every other organization in the Star Wars universe that's affiliated with the Force has a different viewpoint of the Force and how the Force essentially works in the greater universe of Star Wars. This is not new. This is a common thing that's been happening for the past 50 fucking years. Different religious groups, all of which are centered around the Force, having a different aspect and a different ideology based around how they believe the Force works. It's not that bad. If I'm going to leave this off with any sort of finality, I'm just going to say this. Chill the fuck out. We got 5 episodes left, and I don't want to see another YouTube video of some dude who claims that the Star Wars universe is now dead because a fucking coven somewhere out in the distant galaxy has a different interpretation of how the Force works. Swear to God. Bye.